Thank you. Chairman Ricciardi, President Moula Faria, distinguished members of faculty, students and their families, congratulations. I'm grateful that you have invited me to speak at this venerable institution again. I'm honored to be here, and thanks also to my compatriot, Dr. Jabbar Al-Ubaidi, for making this happen. In our country, a keynote speaker is expected to speak for at least an hour and a half. But I was told here to make it short. This reminded me of a story related by General David Petraeus the other day. He said a student was asked to write an essay about Julius Caesar, and he was told to make it short. So he wrote, Julius Caesar was a Roman leader. He fought many great battles. He made a long speech. They killed him. I don't want to go that way, but 45 years ago, I was where you were. The world has changed, and this really reminds me why I was invited here. I thought about it on the day of graduation of a new batch, class 2010, to invite a speaker from Iraq. Then it made sense, because the world has changed since the time I graduated. The world has become more integrated. Every part of the world impacts on every other part. You are now embarking on lives which are so different from the lives that we started back then. Yet there are things which are similar. Values, ambitions, the desire to do good, the desire to influence other people in a way that leaves a positive imprint. That remains. And I see the same expressions and eagerness in the fresh faces that I see before me as I did when I graduated. Just over 2 weeks ago, I was in Baghdad. And the Baghdad University graduated its batch of students this year. I was not present at the ceremony, but I was driving past with some friends in front of the university and saw the young boys and girls, the young men and women coming out of the university with smiles on their face, hope, very similar to the faces that I see here. Yet the conditions are radically different. Our country has gone through hard days, hard years. In fact, it's been to hell and back. But it is coming back. War brings out the worst and the best in human beings. I witnessed both. We see the worst in the action of extremists who are hell-bent on destroying everything. And I see the great good in the thousands, indeed the millions, of people who are determined to make a better life for themselves and for their country every day, who challenge the extremists, who go out despite all the threats and go about their daily lives and do good for themselves and for others. The stories of heroism that I have witnessed in my country are enough to fill many, many volumes. Yet they are ordinary people. To see them, to meet them, to talk to them, you think there is nothing extraordinary about them. Yet, there is a gritty determination. I've just come back from Chicago, and I met there a lady. I want to relate her story to you as an example of what human beings can endure and get through and get beyond. She worked for me when I was a member of the governing council in Baghdad in 2003. She was qualified as an engineer. Her husband was an engineer. They had a young family. Things became very difficult for them, threats. So she took her two kids, who are now, today, they are 21 and 23. Well, they were younger then. They went to Syria for safety. The husband stayed behind. In 2006, the husband was murdered by a terrorist. The family was devastated. But when I met her, all she was thinking about is how to help other people. That made her happy. It made her happy to see her kids, who are now studying for their, one of them is studying for her degree, and the other is studying in high school. Her ambition in life is to make them successful, to make them good, and to help others who have suffered like her. She did a huge amount of work to help other families who were unfortunate and who had lost loved ones. These inspiring people are all around us. Every one of us has the capacity to inspire. Many of you will go on to be leaders in your field, and you will be taking decisions that will impact other people. What I have learned in my relatively long life is that the education does not end when you get your degree. In fact, my own education really got started when I got my degree. Education is a lifelong pursuit. And through education, we can change ourselves, we can become more enlightened. I look back at myself when I was your age and think, did I really believe in that? Did I really think that? I had a more superficial, simplified view of the world. Not that I think you do. You have much more access to knowledge and the world than we did in our time. But the key to this is to keep an open mind, to keep a mind that is receptive, that you interact with others with compassion and with care, and that you take care about the decisions you make. And as leaders, I can see that many of you will impact the lives of others. Many of you, I hope, will interact with my country and do good for us, and we will work with you. This is a new world, a world that is a global village that has to prosper through cooperation and collaboration. We have suffered, yet we are determined to pull through. The message I bring to you is one of optimism. If Iraqi students just graduating from Baghdad University who had to brave explosions, murder, many of their faculties were actually murdered on campus. Yet they went to school every day, and they were determined to get their degree. And when they graduated, they are looking to the future with hope. If they can do that, what prospects do you have? You have the whole world before you. I congratulate you, and I'd like to avoid Caesar's fate, and thank you very much.